Tesla doesn't create new products merely to join a market segment. It redesigns entire categories to correct the shortcomings others have tolerated for years, and its latest target is the smartphone. Traditional handsets are trapped in restrictive ecosystems, ship with bloatware, delay significant software updates, push intrusive ads, and still cost more than $1,000 while often limping to sunset on a single charge. Tesla's PiPhone tears up that script. At a launch price that barely breaks the $150 mark, it promises capabilities the industry usually reserves for premium flagships. Proving inexpensive no longer means uninspiring. Pick up the Pi and the first surprise is tactile. Instead of thin plastic or icily smudged glossy backs, Tesla chose a matte 6000 series aluminum alloy frame that feels reassuringly solid, yet weighs only about 1.5 grams lighter than many compact phones, despite housing a generous 6.7-inch-old display shielded by Corning Gorilla Glass 8. The glass's extra fraction of a millimeter, and new ion exchange chemistry improves scratch resistance by roughly 1/4 over Gorilla Glass 6 while helping the panel shrug off accidental drops. Bezels have been shaved so tightly that the screen seems to float, and the old self-emissive pixels deliver deep blacks and punchy colors that stay legible even under Pakistan's noon sun. Unlocking happens through a capacitive fingerprint reader built into the power key. Fast, reliable, muscle memory simple, and an intentional nod to practicality over gimmick. Those hardware decisions are only half the story. Inside, Tesla equips the Pi with an unusually capacious 20 mAh battery, rewriting expectations for endurance. Benchmark simulations indicate up to 7 days of mixed use, while Tesla's 90 watt wired charging system restores the pack from 10 to 90% in roughly a quarter of an hour. Numbers that relegate battery anxiety to an historical footnote. Power-hungry radios usually undermine big batteries, yet Tesla's custom modem subsystem draws barely over a watt during 5G use and pivots seamlessly to the forthcoming Starlink Nano satellite array when terrestrial coverage evaporates. That switch requires no user intervention. The phone's phased array antenna, barely 4 square centimeters and cooled by a graphene heat spreader, quietly locks onto low Earth orbit spacecraft, keeps latency under 50 milliseconds, and maintains temperatures below 45 degrees Celsius even under sustained uplink. Global roaming effectively becomes a default feature rather than a high-margin add-on. Running the show is Tesla OS, a lean Android 14 fork shorn of the surplusware that bloats most competitors. The out-of-box app roster is so vehicle controller, energy dashboard, browser, camera, and the T-Voice assistant that first boot lands at a home screen 8 seconds after power on. Freed from the heavy animations and clandestine trackers common elsewhere, the interface feels instantaneous. User privacy is boosted, and battery life stretches further because background services simply aren't thrashing the CPU, and because Tesla refuses to gate core functionality behind proprietary cloud calls. Many features, including voice recognition, execute on device. That brings us to Grow 4, Tesla's next-gen artificial intelligence engine developed by XF. Whereas mainstream assistants cough up canned answers or generic weather reports, Grow 4 leverages real-time data across the Tesla ecosystem: vehicle sensor feeds, routing history, Powerwall charge state, even solar roof production curves. The Pi's on-device NPU crunches these inputs locally, eliminating round-trip lag and insulating private routines from server-side snooping. Ask Grow to pre-cool the Model Y for a mid-morning errand. Verify whether stored solar energy will run the air conditioner overnight, or remind you when traffic conditions dictate an early departure. And it grants each request instantly, without leaning on a remote farm of GP. Over time, Grow learns usage patterns. It notices you typically drive to work at 8, that weekends mean highway trips needing autopilot calibrations, and that your off-grid cabin benefits from staggered Starlink bandwidth distribution between security cameras and media streaming. Integrating all that intelligence, connectivity, and battery capacity into a device that costs less than $200 borders on disruptive. Yet Tesla's broader ambition transcends the handset itself. The Pi becomes a unified command center for every Tesla property. You unlock the car, flash firmware to the home battery, summon Optimus to retrieve a package, and route Starlink bandwidth all from one slab of glass and alloy. For customers who invest in Tesla's solar roofs, microgrids, or even its emerging humanoid robots, the phone morphs into a pocket-sized nerve center that reduces friction to almost zero. Commands shift from separate dashboards and logins to a single conversational interface that, crucially, stays available anywhere on Earth, courtesy of satellite fallback. In that sense, the Pi isn't just another entrant in an overcrowded handset arena, it's the connective tissue of a lifestyle Tesla has been quietly assembling since the first Roadster rolled off the line. Look beyond the spec sheet and the significance crystallizes. Tesla is challenging the assumption that meaningful innovation demands flagship pricing. It argues that thoughtful engineering, anodized aluminum that resists flexing, heat-efficient phased arrays, stripped-down software stacks, and AI models tuned for local inference can democratize high-end experiences. The Pi-phone's existence forces incumbents to justify for figure tags on devices that still throttle performance, pre-install promotional apps, and require nightly charging rituals. Should the Pi reach mass production scale, ripple effects will extend well past consumer electronics and into telecom infrastructure, renewable energy management, and personal robotics, because the handset's tight integration with Starlink, Powerwall, and Optimus sets a blueprint others will scramble to emulate. For now, consumers need only ask themselves what matters most in a daily companion: week-long uptime, an assistant that truly understands context, or reliable signal in the Himalayas when terrestrial towers stop at the foothills. The Pi delivers all three inside an object priced like a budget device, yet built like a premium slab. That achievement doesn't merely raise the bar for affordable smartphones. It flips the conversation entirely. And if this is where Tesla begins, its incursion into personal electronics. The logical next steps, perhaps, AR wearables that mesh with autopilot or modular home, energy consoles that talk directly to Grossum, not only plausible but imminent. It may be called a phone, but the Pi is better viewed as Tesla's keystone in an ecosystem designed to make technology invisible and everyday life friction-free. In redefining what entry-level can look like, Tesla hasn't just entered the mobile market, it has reset its trajectory. For more updates, subscribe to Drive Tech Tesla and hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching.